Hello everyone, this is Praveen. Today I am going to demonstrate add component annotation in the Spring Framework. So for that one I have a car class and in that it has a display car info method. So this is just a test method to check whether the car object is created and I am able to call this method present in the car class. So for that I have a beans-da.xml. Okay, in that I have mentioned the bean information related to the car. So this is the fully qualified name of the class. So this is the fully qualified name of the class and I have given that ID as car. So let me go in detail. So this is the details I have given, right? This is present in the application context. And in the test class, so if you see application context equal to new class path XML application context. So for this one, I have passed the parameter as the XML file. Nothing but this one, and in this one, it has a bean definition, bean details related to the car. So when this is executed, the application context is created. So this is the application context. In that one, so since we have given this beans XML, and in that it has these details. So this one will create an application context, and based on the details present in the XML file, it will create the object and place it in the application context. And what is the ID? ID is this one car. So this is a car object and the ID is car. So it is present in the application context when this line of code is executed. So now let me call this method context dot get bean of so created call the context dot get bean. When I call the context dot get bean, so I will get this object in my main method. Now I can call car object dot get display info method. Okay, let me run this program now. Yeah, it's running. So before that, let me comment this one. Let me see. Actually, when we call this one, is the car object is present in the application context. For that one, what we can do is now I'm running this class. Okay, so it's showing the car name. Okay, so it's present in the application context. When we run this one, it will be present in the application context. Now let me comment this one. Okay, I comment this one. Means when I run this one, okay, since it is not present, so this one I'm removing. This is not present in the XML file. XML file, it contains the XML file. Let me remove this one and remove this one. Okay, just I'm keeping it outside. So if you see the XML, it contains just the XSDs. There is no bean definition or bean details present over here. So what it will do is when I run this one, okay, in that it does not XML has no bean definitions, no bean details present. Okay, there are no bean details present in the XML. So application context will be created, but in that there will be no object. So let me run the program, the same program again. Now you can see there are no. When I add this one bean details, so nothing but these details are present in the XML file. So XML file, right? These details. When it executes this line, okay, when I execute this line, in that, if you see in that, I'm passing the XML file as a parameter to this application context. Class path XML application context. I'm passing this one. So when it is executed, okay, so it will create an application context, and in the XML file, the bean details have been provided. So it will create the object and it will place it in the application context. So this is what we have seen. Now let me run the program again. So I have uncommented this line now. Now let me see. So the car object is present in the application context. That's what, right? Your context nothing but this one. So this is fine. Till this point we are fine. Now I do not want to mention this bean details in the XML file. So I want to move this configuring this bean details from the XML side to the Java side. I want to remove this one from here. Okay, and I want to place it in the I want to handle it the Java side. For that one, what I can do is, for the car class, I need to add a component. So when you add a component, this is nothing but equivalent to a component. Nothing but this is equivalent to. So this one. So this one is nothing but this one. Okay. But the thing is, so here component is nothing but this is a car bean. This is a car bean. Okay, nothing but this is the car bean, the class as it is, and the ID is nothing but whatever the class name we have given, right? So this is the camel case convention it will follow. The first letter will be the small one, so the ID will be this one. Okay, let's run the program and see. Now I will remove this one since we are maintaining this bean details at the Java side. Now it is considered as a bean. Okay, when I add the annotation component, then it will be considered as a bean class. Okay, now if I run this one, actually this car class should be present in the application. So in the now there will be nothing is present here. Let me move this one outside of the application context. So now let me run. So here it is loading the XML file, but in the XML file there is no bean details. And I added add component to the car class. Now let me run this program. There is no bean is present in the application context. So the reason is what's happening is, so it is loading the XML file, fine, but it's not present. The object is not present in the application context. If you try to call in this case, if you try to call this context.getBean, so now if you try to call this context.getBean, it will throw us an error because there is no bean. If you see when we executed before, there is no bean present in the application context. There is car bean is not present in the application context. So here it says null. I mean the car object we are not able to get it. So there is no point in calling this one. So let me run this one and see. So you are able to see the error, right? let me see the error. What is the error? Okay, it's saying no bean named car available. That's right? There is no car bean available in the application context. So that is the reason it's showing the same thing. So let me comment it for time being and uncomment it. So if I run it, there is nothing in the application context. This is because I need to tell, even since we are using the XML and here we are using XML. So I need to tell the Spring that all the component scanning is done at the um, at the Java side. This component scanning. So every time what it will do is it will search for the component, this bean. So by default it will be looking at the XML file, but now we are managing at the Java side, so we need to tell the same thing. For that there is a annotation, we need to add that. We need to context bean component scan, okay, and the package we need to specify the base package. I'm specifying this one, okay. This is the package name. So here if you see there is no different, just have added the component scan and this is the add component. So when we add the component scan, so um, the Spring Framework, what it will do is it will load this XML file and it will not search for this, the for placing these objects in the application context. It will not look into this XML file. It will look into this corresponding package. Okay, in this package, okay, this is the component, right? So for this one, it will create an object and place it in a application context. Now let me run the program, the same program now. I've added add component. So nothing but this is a bean, okay, and the ID is car, lowercase letter, first letter starting with, okay, which is the common case convention. It will follow it. So now let me run it. So and the other one is component scan. We have added it. So now let me run the program again. Okay, if you see, just ignore this. Um, uh, Java, I mean this one, because this is something internally related to the Spring. So this is the car class object is loaded. Okay. Now if you see when this one is called, the car class object is loaded into the application context. It will reading the XML file. In the XML file, we are saying that this is a base package. Look into this one and create an object. So if we remove this one, now if you see the same thing, so it should be the class should be annotated with the component. Otherwise, okay, this will not be considered as a bean. So let me comment this one. For example, let me comment this one and let me run this one again. Okay, let me comment this one. I commented this add component at Java side. Now if you see, it will search in this package. So if you see that test one is our test one, it does not have any component, and it will see here. So is it a bean? No. If you add annotation add component, then only it will consider as a bean. So since there is no add component, so this will not be considered. So in that case, there will be no objects placed in the application context. So let me run the program now again. So just I commented the add component, and this remains the same as it is. So if you see, there is no car object present. Here, leave about this one. Apart from this one, there is no car object because this car is not marked as at annotation. Okay, that is the reason it is not being added. The object is not added into the application context. Now I have uncommented it, and I will run the program again. Now you can see the car object is placed in the application context. Okay, comment. Let me comment this one. So now the car object is, if you see, now the car object is present in the application context. Okay. Now I can get the car object from the application context using the context.getBean method. So it will return, I will using this context.getBean object to get this car class. After getting this car class object, I can call this method. So which will display the system.out.println. Okay. Let me run the program again. Now you can see this one. That's fine. So the other one is here. If you see, yeah, here if you want to give some other name, I don't want to have, by default it will take camel case convention, the first letter whatever the same class name with first letter as a lowercase letter. So I do not want to use this name, I want to give a different name. Then I can give different name, diff something different car, for example. Okay, command s. Okay, now let me comment this one. So in the bean XML, there is no bean related information. Okay, just it has a base package. It will be mentioning where to look into it. So I have a diff car, right? So in that case, what it should be there here. So when I when I run this one, application context equal to okay bean da.xml. Okay, I have mentioned this one, and it will load this one, and for component scan for checking the component, so it will check for whatever the class is marked as component. This class is marked as component, so the car object is created, and for that id is something like diff car. So this is the id we have given, right? So this is the id, it will be added. So object is created, and for this is the id. Okay, let me run the program now. So as per this component, this is a car class, and for this ID is a diff car. It should be there. And when I run this one, application context will be created, and based on this configuration, this should be placed in the application context. Now, when I run this one at line 8 and 9, then it should be placed in the application context. Now let me run the program, the same program again. You can see the diff car. So here car, it won't work. Here if you say car, it won't work because in the application context, what is there? It's a diff car. If you are able to see, this is a diff car is present. If I'm trying to get the car, it's not present in the application context. The car object is there, but ID is diff car. It's not a car. It is something like, say for example, the variable you have given car equal to new car. For example, I'm saying equal to new car you have given. If you want to call this method, generally this is out of spring. Okay, not car.diff this one, because the car is the reference variable, the ID or reference variable. If you say diff car, is the diff car have you created here? No, right? So it won't work. The same happens uh, with the Spring framework as well. So here we have a diff car. So in that case, if you call this one, it won't work. So if you scroll here and look into the error, no bean named car. Car variable is not present. No bean car. I mean, with the ID, car is not present. So that is what it's saying. So now I need to add say diff. So is it car? Is it the bean present now? If I say diff car, yes, it's present. Then it will get that object and use it. Okay, car class. So this is same like uh, this is same like let me bean id equal to. So this is nothing but this is same as this one. Okay. So just have added this line just to show you. Okay, I'm removing this one. So this is how the component scan works. Okay, I'm removing now this one. Okay, there will be just a car. Okay, and here also just a car. So let me add one more class, say engine class. Okay, just adding, and I'm not writing any specific logic or any complex implementation or complex logic. Just I am writing a simple test methods to check the object is created and I'm able to call this method. So let's make it very simple. Once we understand the basic concept, then we can write a complex logic inside that one. So I have engine class and say I write the method to test the engine class. So here, if you see, there is no component base package for both of them. If you see h.da, this is base package for both of them. Car class and engine class both have the same base component, but here I have not added a component annotation, so it will not consider as a bean. Okay, let me run the program now again. So here engine, it does not have component. Okay, let me run again. You can see only the car, not the engine. Okay, if you want to this be considered as a bean, uh, then you need to add a component. Otherwise, whatever you have, whatever the classes present in it, if it does not have a component, then it will not be considered as a bean. Okay, now I added a component, so now it should be considered as a bean, and you should add this engine object into the application context. As I said, the ID will be the same name with a first letter lowercase, and we added this component as the engine. This one component scan, it will search in this package. Now we have both the classes as add component. This one is add component, this is one add component. Now when we run this one, so both this one and this one should be loaded into the application context. So both should present in the application context. Now let me run the program again. Now you see both are present. Okay, car and engine both are present in the application context. So when you when you remove this one, then it will not be considered as the application context. So just try to understand, like it's a layman terms, like component scan is required, like just a non-technical terms. It is something like you are going to the office. If you want to enter into the office, you need to have an ID card. Okay, if there are like 10 people are there. Okay, only in the 10 people, 2 of them are the employers of that office. Okay, how that 2 people it will be allowed into the office is based on their ID card. So the 2 people say X, Y implies X and Y. 2 people have ID card and other 8 people does not have ID card. So they will not be allowed into the office. Okay. So the same thing component it's like a ID card. So at component means okay you are allowed into it, um, allowed into the application context. If the component is not there, you are not allowed into the application context. That means the object will not be placed in the application context. So object will not be created and it will not be placed in the application context. So that is like a component. Okay. If you want to get into the office, in front of the entrance, there will be a scanner is there. So when you tap your ID on the scanner, it will check and okay, this is a valid one. Then it will be allowed you to enter. The same thing, the scanner, the same thing, it will work like it. The component scan will check the this component, whatever in the base package, are it marked as a component. Then only it will allow. Then only it will create an object and place it in the application content. The same way, like when you when you scan your ID card, then it will check and it will allow you inside. That's how at component. So in the next session, we will try to uh, eliminate this complete XML file and try to manage all this configuration. It is Java side, no XML. So we will try to do it in the next upcoming sessions. Have a nice day. Thank you.